Already a classic of dystopian fiction, Atwood's novel has been given a new charge by dystopian fact, the election of Donald Trump. Louise Doughty, the novel is very interior. It takes the form of a secret memoir. How successfully does it transfer to the screen, where it has to be opened out?
I think they've done a brilliant job. It's not an easy one to adapt, as Harold Pinter found out when he scripted a film version starring Natasha Richardson, which I've never seen. You would imagine Harold Pinter would be perfect for this kind of material, but apparently it was a less than successful film. But I think here the visuals are fantastic. And we have the red uniforms of the handmaids set against this very sort of bleached grey and blue scenario. And wonderful scenes where two handmaids are sort of walking along by a river, and then they suddenly come across these men who've been hanged with hoods over the kind of the horror set amongst what is quite a sort of mundane suburban American setting. There's one really false note at the end of episode 2, which maybe we'll get onto, but I think with that caveat, I think it's fantastic. Elizabeth Moss is wonderful, and Joseph Fiennes as the commander, sinister. I'm going to be actually on my edge of my seat for each episode.
Okay, Giles Fraser, it starts with a car chase, a scene full of tension and action, and then it slows down, it slams the brakes on, and it goes at a very, very slow pace as you explore this world. And what did you think of it?
I mean, it's utterly brilliant. I found it very, very difficult to watch. There were times when I wanted to turn the sound off and I wanted to keep on watching, but I couldn't watch. So,
and what was it that made it difficult for you to watch?
I mean, this is a vision of religion at its very worst. And it reminded me of, perhaps Saudi Arabia, that something about the sort of subjugation of women here and the way religion does that. If you want something to put you off religion, then watch this. It's utterly terrifying. And I think there's a lot of it that's... I was stunned after I saw it, really. I think some of it's a bit unfair. I think there are ways of depicting Puritanism, which is its target, it's Puritanism. And if you want a sort of more sympathetic portrayal of Puritanism, you can go to Marilyn Robinson, who also wrote Gilead, which is referenced in The Handmaid's Tale.
It's a particularly male view of Puritanism, isn't it, though? It's a patriarchal view of Puritanism.
It's patriarchal, it's power, and I think the religion, which of course troubles Giles, is a mechanism of power rather than any true religion. I think one of the extraordinary things the director has done is he's taken one of the real problems, which is the sex scenes, appalling sex scenes, and he has managed to film them so they are brutally convincing but utterly unsexy. And this is a huge problem of the treatment of women in films. How do you make a rape scene not be the most titillating thing in it? It's here in this. It's cold. It's horrible. I think it's really fantastic. I agree with Louise entirely about the visuals. There are lots of aerial shots where the handmaids in red are moving through a wooded landscape, and they're like blood flowing or colonies of ants on the move. It's absolutely chilling.
It does a very
mesmeric.
Clever thing in the first episode too, I think, where you're inside the house of the military commander. And it sort of looks like a sort of Martha Stewart idyll. The kitchen is a Martha Stewart kitchen. It oozes that notion of traditional values, and then it shows you what those traditional values have generated or how they've been interpreted in this way.
Yes, and it's also very good with layering that kind of suburban Martha Stewart visuals with the absolute terror of living in a police state. And a police state every bit as terrifying as East Germany, or the idea that you never know who is going to inform on you. And when Offred goes for a walk, they have to go out in pairs at all times, she thinks that the handmaiden she's forced to walk with is to spy on her. That handmaiden thinks the same. The sense that one phrase out of place, one sentence that shows that you're not ideologically pure, will see you hauled off in these terrifying black vans, which have existed in every police state throughout history, has had the equivalent of the black vans that come and snatch you from the street or snatch you from your beds, and the result is torture and death.